And proud of it.
Very proud. I couldn't see my life with anybody else but her. She is my best friend and my biggest supporter, and the one person that I know that I can depend on no matter what. Ooh, how people see us. Um, I remember when I came out, a couple of my siblings said that it was a phase I was going through, and one of my siblings that even went so far as to say that I was going to burn in hell. And I really prayed hard about that part because I needed the right words to be able to support how I felt, but to also not live in the trauma that she was trying to instill on me about her um, vision or what she thought was, I guess the good Christian thing to do. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, I quickly said to her, do you think God is shocked? Did he not see this happening? If I'm made in his image, then he knew that this is who I was and this is who I am. And so he loves me regardless. And I often tell people that my blessings don't stop because of the person that I fell in love with. In fact, I feel like they've increased. Um, because I'm not going to stop loving my wife because of how other people think or how they feel.
How people see us, they see us. Some people see us as, just a normal couple. Some people see us as an abomination. We're not going to hell. Like she said, God knew what he was doing. He knew I was going to be gay. She was going to be gay, and that's how it is. And nobody has to accept it, but they have to respect it.
Yeah, that is the one thing for us that I think we require is that you can, you just respect who we are and where our love is. And I can say for the most part, my siblings, that's how they are now. Like they all respect the fact that, it's not a phase and that this is who we are. Judgment from others. A few years back, my wife and I decided, well, we we go to church. Well, before all of this stuff happened, we were going to church, and so we decided that we were going to go to a church that she kind of grew up in as a child, and we wanted to become members. So we were kind of excited, like, wow, like,
Full class and
yeah,
everything.
we took
The new members class.
yeah, we took the new members class, which turned out to be a complete joke. Um, so we took this class. We were getting ready to graduate, and we're sitting in this class. And I remember the mother was she the mother of the church? One of the mothers of the church.
Mm-hmm.
What's her position? Yeah, one of the mothers of the church says, "So you guys are siblings, right?" And we started laughing. Mind you, our children are in this class with us because our kids are there with us. And we looked at her and we said, "No, we're not siblings."
And it was a few weeks we had been in this class.
Yeah,
already.
we've been going. We were getting ready to graduate.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been going for about a month and a half, getting ready to graduate. And she said, "So you guys are siblings?" And we looked at each other and laughed and we said, "No, we're actually married." And
red flags.
She didn't know what to do at that point. She just kind of sat there and looked at us like in awe, like, what? Are they serious?
If she could have hit a button, she would have.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So we were both sitting there like we don't know what's fixing to happen. So I think it was a couple of weeks later, we got a phone call, and the bishop of the church was requesting to meet with us, and that was such a horrible thing for me because I didn't understand. We went to this meeting with this gentleman, and in this meeting, he's saying to us, first, he said that, maybe we were hurt in the past, maybe something happened to where we got hurt, and
That's why we're gay.
that's the reason why we were That's the reason why we were together, because some man had hurt us in the past. And so, I said to him, that's not true. um, do you love your wife? And he said, well, yes, I do. And I said, well, I love mine just like you love yours. It's no different. I'm not going to stop loving my wife because you think some man hurt me, because I wasn't hurt by a man. I love my wife because this is who I am and this is who I love. And I just remember him looking at us, and he said that he could not extend the hand of fellowship.
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
Meaning we could not join.
Yeah, he couldn't extend the hand of fellowship to us to join their church. And I didn't understand what that meant, because I had never, ever in my life been told I couldn't join a church. I grew up in the church all my life. And I was so confused that I started crying when we got outside, because we get out, my wife was like, let's go. We got our nieces and nephews because they were with us, and we left. And when we were walking outside, I just started crying, because I was like, so that means that, if we're not a member of this church, are we gonna burn? Like, that's how I was feeling. Not like burn in hell, but like, if something was to happen, we're not covered by anybody. We're not covered by a pastor. And that's what I've always been taught, is that, you need a covering from your fellow church or whatever the case may be. And so all in my brain, like, it was just going, 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 going. And my wife kept saying, everything's going to be okay. Stop stressing. We're fine. That's his loss. She like really comforted me at the time, because I didn't understand. So I started making phone calls, because again, like I said, I grew up in the church. My favorite cousin is a pastor, so I called him because I wanted to understand. And I remember him saying to me, that's not his choice to make. And in fact, he's made a mistake, that he doesn't have the right to tell you that you cannot become members of a church just because he's the person that's sitting in front of the church. My cousin said to me that God is using him as a vessel to guide the church. But if he doesn't guide the church the right way, God can also remove him from that position. And that was the part that I think gave me the most comfort, because at that point I felt horrifying. Because what exactly does that mean? Like, here I am at a church, which I pay my tithes and my offering. Oh, and he did say to us that we could, he said to us we could continue to pay our tithes and offering. We could continue to give money to the church, but we couldn't be members.
Yeah, but I think for him it was more personal, because his wife used to be with a woman, and maybe he thought we're going to take his wife. I don't know. Um, that's all I could think of. Remember, one of my friends actually told me that. I'm like, oh, well, it's pretty personal for him. Maybe it triggered something for him.
Do you remember that he also, so after he made that announcement, I guess, um,
one of my friends had called me because she was in service, and she said, oh my God, he's talking about you guys. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, he wants to apologize. So he apologized to the whole church for what he did to us. Because somewhere down in his spirit, he knew it wasn't right. So yeah, we get judged from lots of people. I ignore it. Lydia's more sensitive. I'm not sensitive. She's very sensitive. So I don't even care about the judgment. I mean, it is what it is. I just keep moving.
we often also have, for me, I often have people tell me, um, you don't look gay. I laugh because I didn't know there was a certain look that you have when you're gay. Like, what does that mean? Or when men hit on my wife um, in front of me, like as if I'm not there. Um, is that why they hit on you, because I don't look gay? Okay. So anyway, so yeah, those are some of the things that we face a lot. People people also it was difficult because we have a 12-year-old that we're raising together, um, and when she first started school or preschool, we remember picking her up from preschool, and the teacher said, "I thought I was going to intervene today, um, but Georgie handled her business," and so we kind of laughed because we were like, "Oh God, what did she do?" I guess so. She calls my wife Daddy. She always has from day one.
Even
Um,
though we've tried to correct her.
right, because that was another thing that people had a hard time with. Why are you allowing her to do
I
that?
even had a hard time with
Um, but it's not something we allowed. It's something she did on her own, and she still does to this day. At this particular time, she was 4.5, and when my wife goes to pick her up, she yells, "Daddy," and runs to my wife from school. And the next day, one of the little boys in the classroom said, "You do know that daddies are all boys." And she looked at him, and the teacher said, she put her hands on her hips, and she said to him, "Well, not all daddies, because my daddy is a girl and she has chi-chis. So mind your business." And so um, she's always been able to defend herself around that when people or children are mean and harsh and say mean things to her. But she gets that from my wife, that she stands up for herself. And so not only do they judge us as a couple, they judge our relationship with our children and with our, it's, I'm thankful that we have strong kids and that they can stand up for themselves and that they can handle whatever people are going to say. Because people are mean, whether it's children or adults, they can be very mean and judgmental. But honestly, she has the resiliency of being able to like stand on her own, just as we've had to learn. It's a little easier for a child sometimes because they don't know anything different, and so she stood up for herself. The teacher was so proud of her because she said she didn't have to step in. And she said once she said that, the little boy's face just changed. And in fact, that day when my wife went to go pick up Georgie from school, the little boy was like, "Georgie, there comes your daddy." And so um, that was a proud moment for us because we know that she's going to be able to deal with anything that life throws her. The healing began from the situation at the church. For me, it was very difficult. As I stated earlier, I didn't understand. I was trying my best to wrap my mind around it. How could someone say that? How could someone make another person feel that way? So we were called for another meeting at the church, um, because he wanted to apologize to us. He wanted to take us to lunch, but I was not interested in having lunch. And I wasn't interested in having lunch because,
yeah, he tried asking us several times too.
yeah, I felt like that was a trap. I'm not going to help you feel better about the things that you said. I'll accept your apology, but I don't want to break bread with you. Um, because you didn't want to break bread with me before. Um, and that's what was hurtful. Um, because I just didn't get it. And it was hard. It was hard to deal with that. How do you swallow a pill like that? How do you swallow a pill that a person is sitting and they're judging you and they don't even know you? They don't know your walk with God. They don't know your walk in life. They don't know anything about you. But because of who you've chosen to fall in love with and who you've chosen to marry, they have this preconception of who you are.
And the whole time he has gay people in his choir, in his congregation, in his family, but we couldn't join church.
Right. Yeah. But I'm better now. Yeah, I think so. Um, I do attend a different church that has accepted us for who we are, um, and that loves on us and doesn't make us feel like we're less than or make us feel like we don't belong there. Um, And so that's a good thing.
Um, like I said, it didn't really affect me. I was so, I don't know, I guess nonchalant to it. It didn't affect me at all. It was me being there for her and making sure she was okay. That's what I had to do.
Yeah, so I think that for me, the one thing I can tell people is before you say something to someone or have this preconception because you feel like only men and women should be together, before you say that to a woman or to a man, to a gay man or to a lesbian woman, or to any people that don't look like you or don't agree with, stop and think about how is that going to make them feel?
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to walk away from that? And then also stop and think, what if it was your child, or what if it was your brother or your sister? And I don't wish that feeling that I had that day on anyone. That was the worst feeling in the world, like literally walking out from a situation that I couldn't. I felt like I needed to defend myself, but I was angry, I was hurt, I was pissed. Like, and I'm proud of myself because I didn't cuss him out, but because that would have been my first thing to do. But um, I was still messed up. Like I was messed up for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I think for me
For months.
that was the hardest part because what if I didn't have a strong support system? Or what if I didn't have family members, not just my wife, but my siblings that rallied around me and showed me love throughout this? What if I didn't have that? And what if I would have did something to myself? So that's why I say has the healing was hard because I was in a situation. I felt like, wow, like what? How does this work? What? What am I supposed to do now? I mean, what's my next move? Like, how do I move different? Like, how do I ask questions? Like, where do I go to church at? How do I worship? How do I do all these things?
Even then, it took a while to find a church.
It did. It did. Because then I felt like um, we couldn't find a church. But then we found a church and our pastor passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So that was hard because he really accepted us um, and loved us. Um, so then after that, then we found a different church. That's where we go now before the pandemic. So yeah, yeah.
You're okay.
Okay, now our family. Wow. Um,
And family. Well, so you want me to tell you about my parents?
you can.
Well, my mom and my dad, they love that I'm there. They don't. It's not a problem. My siblings, they love it. I've never had a problem. I don't. I've never gone through the stuff that she's gone through. So it's been easy for me. Very easy.
Do you think it's easy for you because you dress like a boy and I don't?
I don't know. I just don't let people punk me. Like
Oh, people were punking me. Oh, that's what they was doing.
I
Okay.
don't really care what people think about me.
Oh, okay.
Do I?
No,
No,
you
I don't.
Um,
Because I have to live my life.
right. When I think of our family, it's not funny, but my dad, rest in peace, he well, my stepdad, my biological father passed away before I came out, but I think he knew. But my
Mhm.
stepfather, um, I had taken a friend over to the house to do something, and my dad called my mother and said, you probably need to talk to Lydia um, because you know they recruit. And so my dad was like, they recruit. My mom was like, they recruit. What does that mean? And so my dad was telling my mom that they recruit for members to be gay. And so my mom said, "You need to tell your dad," and I mean, you need to tell him right now, because my mother knew, because I told her, um, but it was hilarious because eventually my dad just got on board. He didn't really care in the beginning. He just was his that was his observation, and that's what he understood. He was old school. He was an older
He loved
gentleman.
me too.
Yeah, so he would always even call for Red. Can you tell Red to come over here? I need her to do such and such and such. Can you tell Red to do this? Can you tell Red to do that? And so they had a very good relationship before my father passed away. Um, very close, very very good relationship. Um, and as far as all my siblings go, for the most part, I think all of them understand that it's not a phase at this point in my life.
I
That
hope.
is, and they love my wife.
Well, at first, Dorney, she didn't. She
No.
tolerated me, but mm,
Yeah, I
she
would have
didn't
to agree
really
with that.
start liking me until we started working together. And then when she started being nice to me, I thought it was weird.
But also, that part for her is, um, I think for her, she just didn't understand. She was the one that thought it was a phase. Like that was her rationalization of who I have fallen in love with. She kept saying, "You're just in a phase. You'll get over it or whatever." And I was like, "I'm not gonna get over it. This is who I'm choosing to be with. This is who I love." Um, and then the day that we got married, my one sister, I almost went to jail. It's not funny, but it's funny now. She was late getting to the ceremony because we got married in the courthouse in Vancouver, and she was trying to get to the room that we were in, and the courthouse had just closed, so the elevator, she couldn't get on the elevator because she couldn't go through the metal detectors because there was no one there to take her through. And the sheriff at the courthouse was like, "Ma'am, you need to get off the elevator." And they drew their guns out on her and everything. And she was like, "My sister is getting married upstairs and I have to be there." And they were like, "Well, you won't be going to that." And so she was devastated. I have to say, she is our biggest cheerleader, because she really, truly loves us because of how we love each other. Um, and she always says to me, "I love that you love someone who loves you back, and that's all that matters to
Oh
me.
yeah, she's been cool from the gate.
As long as that person loves you and you love that person, who gives a damn about what everybody else thinks or says?" So that keeps me. That's who, I guess, she's the one I can lean on as far as, and then the rest of my siblings are pretty cool with it. Um,
We don't really have a choice.
right? Because it is what it is. It's not like we're gonna get a divorce because they don't like it, so they'll be all right. Um, our family love. Wow. So our kids are way cool with it. Um, I don't think they've ever had a problem with it. Um,
No.
and
They see love as just love. It doesn't have a gender. It's just love, period. It doesn't have a color, nothing. It's just love.
even though most of my kids are grown, um, they still don't have a problem with it.
Mm-mm.
They love Red, and they've always loved her, and they consider her their parent. Um, and they, I don't know. Do you think that they care? I mean, about, I don't know, it's being married.
Mm-mm. They love it.
Yeah, I think so. I think they love it. I mean, I think that as
She
long as mommy's happy, they're happy. Um, and I'm happy, and so my kids are happy for me. And so that's what was important to me. When I came out, that was the one thing for me that was, as long as my children were okay with it, then it didn't matter what anyone else thought, or had an opinion about it or felt some type of way. It was about my kids. And
And we're all close. Like we're super
yeah,
close.
yeah. So I think that's what,
We spend lots of time together.
yeah. We do a lot of things together as family as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what helps us. Not only just with our immediate family, with our kids, but we do a lot with my siblings too. Um, and that's important for us because family is everything. And I'm thankful that we don't have to convince family that love is real or that we love one another. I mean, I think people can judge other people no matter what. And, but having a family's love and that support and reason why I chose elephants for this picture is because when I think about elephants, I think about the strength that they come from.
And unity.
Unity is huge. But I also think about a while back, I watched this, um, I don't know what you would, a thing on elephants and how they remember and how they care for one another and how they love one another is incredible. And that's the kind of love I feel like we have.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when our family sees us, that's what they see in us. They see that kind of love. They see that it's two people that love each other regardless of what other people have thought or made us feel like we've overcome so much and we've made it through so many different obstacles that for a lot of people couldn't have made it. Um, we have friends that we started out with that were couples and they're no longer couples. A couple of our friends have gotten married several times to different people,
Wow.
which is weird to us.
But no judgment. No judgment.
Right. It's just, I think the one thing that keeps us strong is that we laugh and joke a lot. Like we play a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and we have fun. We don't always get along, and it's days that she doesn't like me, and it's days I don't like her. But
I can admit that.
when it comes down to will she support me? Absolutely. Will I support her? Absolutely. Will our family support us? Definitely. And I think that I know that that's because of the love that we have.
And we're not perfect, but
No,
like I said, our love keeps it how it is strong. Our bond is strong.
very
We're far from perfect.
girl. We have our moments, let me tell you. Um,
But perfect isn't real.
right,
This is real.
right.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you have the support that you need, you can conquer anything. But you also have to be willing to say, talk about the bad part, because it ain't always good.
Mm-mm.
It's not always perfect. It's not always sunshine. But I remember one of my friends had said to me probably a few years ago that after every storm, there's always a rainbow. And that to me is like how our love is. We may fight, we may argue.
We don't physically fight.
No,
No.
we, we disagree. Um, and sometimes the disagreements are harder than others, but we've learned over the course of time um, what's okay to say and what's not okay to say. Um, and I would say our communication over the course of time has gotten a lot better. But like my wife said, we're not perfect. We're not.
Because I'm the boss.
Right, not. The bond that we have. Wow.
you and I don't take this the wrong way. I don't. You're my wife, of course, but do I don't see. I don't like. Oh, in my mind, it's like that's my wife. No, it's more like a best friend.
Yeah.
You're like my homie, lover, and friend, all in one.
How would I take that the wrong way though?
Well, I didn't because I know you're my wife, but that doesn't cross my mind.
Okay. Really?
Hmm.
Um,
We're just like best friends that coexist, but we're married.
yeah. I think sometimes when I think about who she is in my life, I some years ago I was watching this pastor on TV, and he was introducing his wife, and he went down this list of things about this person, about his wife, and everything he said was so positive. Kind of like when she just like kind of described me. Um, and that's what I think about. I think about she is my best friend. She is also my headache sometimes. She is my rock. She's my biggest cheerleader and my biggest pusher. Not like drugs, but the person that pushes me to move forward when when I don't believe in myself, or when I've got nervous, or when I
Yeah,
feel
I'll
like
keep
I
you
can't
going.
make it. She's the one that pushes me the hardest.
I'm lighting that fire all the time.
Um, she is the person that's gonna always take up for me. What a lot of people don't know is 2 years ago I had a heart attack, and my best friend was there for me. And I love salt. I can admit that salt is like my best friend. Besides my wife, was my best friend. I but she changed all of that. Like, she figured out ways to make sure that when I ate, I was eating healthy, versus when I ate, I was needing a bunch of salt. Because literally, I put salt on everything, on grapes, on apples, on any type of fruit
She had
besides
a salt
bananas.
shaker in her purse, in the
Yeah, it was bad.
car.
Yeah. Like, I can admit that. Like, I had, like she said, a salt shaker in my car, in my purse, at one of my desk at work. Um, but it was also brought on about a lot of stress and um, being treated unfair at work at the job I had at the time. Um,
And most of that was
because I'm a lesbian.
mhm.
So at this particular job, I had gotten a supervisor that was Mormon, so she didn't agree with who I was married to. So every opportunity, which was every Monday at 10 o'clock a.m., we had supervision, and she would come, and she would literally bully me every Monday with some form of negativity about my wife. She would correct me and say she's my partner. She would correct me and say things like that. And I would go back and I would say, no, my wife. Um, that was hard. I worked in a very hostile work environment. Um, and on a Monday, my coworkers stepped in because she was bullying me so bad. And the next day, that Tuesday, was the day I had my heart attack. And but my wife rose up and made things better and was there for me every step of the way. Again, I've changed the way I eat. Um, but she was my supporter. She wasn't, some people think, oh, I'm just going to contribute because I don't want to hear her mouth. And even though I was fussing in the beginning because it was very difficult. I mean, I ate salt, like I would just
It
eat
was a
salt in my
change you were
hand.
used to for
Yeah.
so long.
And so, um, but that change has been good. Like I don't put salt on my grapes anymore. I don't put them on all my fruit anymore. I don't eat a lot of salt, period.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really thankful for that. But the bond that we have with one another is unbreakable, and people have tried over the course of time to break that bond.
Even us, we've tried to break it,
Yeah.
and it won't break. It won't break.
Yeah. But I also believe our bond is strong because we know what it feels like to be the underdog. We understand what trauma looks like, but we also are gaining tools every chance we get to protect ourselves in the midst of whatever is happening. We're also able to speak out now when things don't feel right, when things don't feel okay. I can come home or come in the living room or go in the bedroom because we ain't leaving because of the pandemic. But I can go to her and say, hey, this doesn't feel right to me. What do you think about this? And we can talk about it. And she'll like give me like tools, or I'll give her tools, or she'll come to me and say, this isn't, I feel uneasy about this.
And we tell each other everything, like everything.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, and they don't get that part, is that we have a relationship that we can tell each other everything we need to tell each other. We don't hide or keep secrets, because to me that's what breaks up a lot of friendships and marriages, is secrets and not telling the truth and not having that relationship where you're able to have that communication skills with the person that you're with. And so knowing what that bond looks like and building on it, but also knowing that I can talk to her and she can talk to me. That's important.
And it can't be broke, so they can stop trying. Period.
So yeah, um, I don't know what else we want to say or share.
Mm.
Hmm.
What's next?
I think it's the end, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, how we show up for community. Oh man, I have to say, community embraces who we are, 100%.
Yeah, we do so much in the community and for the community and with the community. Man, we are the community.
Yeah, I can say that we are.
Mm-hmm.
We're very engaged.
Very.
We both are parent leaders from Multnomah County. We serve on a parent leadership network that's national.
We love it.
Yeah, we get to advocate for brown and black children in Multnomah County. So we get to represent Multnomah County with other counties around the United States.
And it's good having her there because I'm not a nervous person, but it just feels better that she's there. And if I get stuck, she can come to me, or I can go to her, and vice versa.
Yeah. And we just did a whole seminar around I can't even think about what it was around. My brain just stopped. No, the seminar that we did in our conference. The seminar we did in our conference, we did self-care. Sorry, couldn't think for a second. Yeah, we did self-care, and that's the one thing that I've been training myself around, is what does self-care look like, and how do I show up for myself in self-care? My wife is very good at it because she takes care of herself no matter what, and she does her me time. I don't always
Good.
get to have me time. Sometimes I don't get me time at all, but learning what that looks like and providing myself with the right tools to do that. But I'm also learning to teach classes to other women and men on what self care looks like and meditating. And so I've been meditating a lot. That's helped me regain my focus. That's helped me start to heal. That's also helped me um, deal with a lot of things because our 12-year-old has ADHD and defiant disorder and sensory disorder. And so that's hard because there's days that she has good days and there's days that you're like, oh, Lord. So teaching her how to meditate has also helped us as a family and helped her as an individual. The other thing for her is she turns cartwheels, which we didn't understand, um, but she turns them so she can regulate herself. I can't turn a cartwheel, so I'm not even gonna try that.
She
But
sings, she
um,
twirls.
yeah, so for her, that's realigning herself, but also finding tools that you can give yourself that's going to help you come back to the center of who you are and help you refocus yourself is so important. But we serve a lot in the community. Like anytime someone asks us, we show up
Mm-hmm.
and we show out. We provide. We just provide everything. I mean, we provide an understanding, but we provide ourselves. We show up as our whole selves, and we give our all. Um,
And it's not fake. It's no script. It's us. It's all natural.
and that's important to us to be able to do that because we community doesn't look the same way that it did years ago. Um, but being able to give back is huge for both of us, whether it's an encouraging word or whether it's financially or whatever it looks like, as being able to give back is important. Because I feel like that's the reason why we are in the position that we're in now and we're so blessed, is because we've been able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, we welcome you, everyone who's here, who's taken part of this. I don't want to say too much because everything I heard is so powerful, and I want it to rest on what you brought forth. But it is you've given us so much that helps us know what we need to do for ourselves, to have some things that we can apply to our own lives and our own situations for healing, to stay strong during these difficult times. I really appreciate you both. Thank you so much for taking part in Trauma Informed Oregon. Um, is appreciative of your all you've done and your efforts. Thank you so much for
Thank
attending.
you for having us.
Thank you, yeah, for having us. We appreciate it. Anytime, though.
All right.